Olivia de Havilland was once called the gentlest face of classic Hollywood. Known for her clear, luminous eyes and calm demeanor, she won hearts in films like Gone with the Wind as Melanie, a character associated with kindness and self-sacrifice. Yet, beneath this serene beauty, Olivia was a woman who defied Hollywood's power structure and changed the industry forever. Her struggle was not one of loud protest, but quiet defiance. She did not simply step onto the screen, she stepped into the courtroom and confronted the studio moguls who controlled the destinies of thousands of actors. Olivia de Havilland won, paving the way for future actors to regain control over their careers. The price of freedom. Early life fame came early for Olivia, but freedom did not. While audiences adored her as Melanie in Gone with the Wind, Olivia was quietly paying a heavy price. She faced years of isolation, branded as a traitor by some, with doors slammed shut simply because she had dared to say no. Her remarkable talent was celebrated on the Oscar stage, but that very talent became the shackles that confined her for years. Olivia's story is more than the journey of a movie star. It is a tale of the cost of freedom, of a woman who seemed fragile but was driven by a quiet strength that made Hollywood tremble. A childhood of separation and control. Olivia's struggle for freedom began long before Hollywood discovered her. Born in 1916 in Tokyo to British parents, she spent her early years in a world balanced between East and West. However, her parents' marriage soon fractured, and her father left the family when Olivia was still young. She and her sister were taken to the United States, where they lived with a mother who was both strong-willed and severe. This environment, filled with separation and control, shaped Olivia's character. From a young age, she learned to remain silent in the face of power and to cultivate inner resolve through solitude. These early lessons in discipline and independence would serve her well in her future career. A complex sisterhood. Olivia's relationship with her sister, Joan Fontaine, was far from peaceful. Raised just over a year apart, the sisters were constantly compared, and their affection for one another was gradually eroded by rivalry and jealousy. Joan, often feeling overshadowed by Olivia's beauty and emerging fame, resented the constant comparisons, while Olivia internalized the pressure to remain strong, never showing weakness. This tension created a lifelong rivalry that would define much of their adult lives. While Joan soared in her career, Olivia remained determined to carve her own path. It was on the school stage, a rare space where Olivia could breathe and express herself, that she first felt the freedom to exist as herself, away from the suffocating family dynamic. Leaving home for Hollywood. When Olivia's mother and stepfather pressured her to abandon her acting ambitions, Olivia made the bold decision to leave home. This was not an impulsive act, it was the first step in a life already marked by independence and solitude. Olivia entered Hollywood not as a dreamer, but as someone accustomed to standing alone. Her debut performance as an understudy in A Midsummer Night's Dream at the Hollywood Bowl was far from glamorous. She observed and learned, quietly preparing for a breakthrough that would come unexpectedly. Fate intervened when the lead actress withdrew, forcing Olivia to step into the spotlight. Her performance caught the eye of director Max Reinhardt, who remembered her as a serious talent, marking the beginning of her Hollywood career. The strain of success. The pressure of being typecast took a toll on Olivia. While Flynn's career expanded with every new action role, Olivia's roles remained constrained within the framework of beauty and grace. She began to grow frustrated with her lack of creative freedom. On set, Flynn often took center stage with his boisterous personality and unrestrained confidence, while Olivia felt increasingly aware of her position within the frame. Her beauty was often the focal point, but it became clear that her value in Hollywood was more about her image than her talent. The more she was loved by audiences, the more confined she felt in a golden cage. A paradox where her success became the very thing that limited her future opportunities. Breaking free, gone with the wind. Olivia's desire to break free from the confines of her studio image grew stronger when the role of Melanie in Gone with the Wind came her way. Although Melanie was a supporting character, it offered Olivia the psychological depth and complexity she longed for. However, Warner Brothers was reluctant to loan her out, fearing that a different image would disrupt the successful formula they had built with her. Olivia, however, was determined to take on the role. She lobbied, persuaded, and fought for the opportunity, turning a seemingly secondary role into a battleground for artistic freedom. Once she secured the part, Olivia found herself in the midst of a grueling shoot, but her determination and resilience shone through, and her portrayal of Melanie was hailed as one of her finest performances. The legal battle and Hollywood's reckoning. Olivia's victory in Gone with the Wind came with both professional recognition and personal sacrifice. Despite being nominated for an Oscar, Olivia lost the award to Hattie McDaniel, which initially left her feeling misunderstood. Meanwhile, her personal life and career were overshadowed by a long-standing rivalry with her sister Joan, who was gaining recognition for her own roles. As Olivia returned to Warner Brothers, she found herself trapped once again in shallow, repetitive roles that offered little creative satisfaction. When she refused these roles, the studio retaliated by suspending her contract, leaving her in a professional limbo. But Olivia refused to accept her fate. In 1943, she sued Warner Brothers, challenging the studio's exploitation of her contract. The legal battle, which became known as the de Havilland Law, eventually led to a landmark victory that allowed actors to gain more control over their careers. A new chapter, to each. His own following her legal victory, Olivia returned to Hollywood with a new sense of agency. Her next role in To Each His Own allowed her to take on a character that was morally complex and emotionally restrained. In the film, Olivia portrayed a woman who lives with the pain of being denied motherhood, and her performance was marked by a quiet intensity. Olivia's ability to convey deep emotion through restraint earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1947. This win was not just a recognition of her talent, but also a testament to her perseverance and the creative freedom she had fought so hard to achieve. Pioneering mental health representation. In the late 1940s, Olivia pushed the boundaries of Hollywood even further with her role in The Snake Pit, a film that tackled the subject of mental illness. Olivia didn't simply play a character struggling with mental illness. She worked tirelessly to understand the condition by visiting treatment facilities and listening to patients' stories. Her portrayal brought a level of authenticity and empathy that was rarely seen in films at the time. The film sparked public debate about the treatment of mental illness and led to policy changes in several states. Although Olivia did not receive an Oscar nomination for her role, the film's impact on both audiences and the social structure was undeniable. The final triumph. The Heiress. Olivia's final peak came with her performance in The Heiress, 1950, where she portrayed Catherine Sloper, a woman who is manipulated and underestimated. Her nuanced performance captured the essence of a woman who teaches herself to face the truth without dramatic flourishes. Each decision she made on screen carried the weight of her past experiences, and her portrayal of Catherine earned her a second Oscar for Best Actress. This triumph marked the culmination of Olivia's journey, from a young woman fighting for creative freedom to an actress whose work transcended the limitations of the Hollywood system. She had broken free of the golden cage, creating a legacy that continues to inspire generations of actors.